Seeking Denali.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. One moment. Now it's just going to switch a moment. I'm going to switch back. Okay, this is Jennifer's statement of intent. I will go through each image and then go back to the beginning. Okay.
Okay.
Can you, Steve, can you hold that intent for a while?
Yeah, a little
Everybody
reading
read
going
it?
on.
Do we want to read it or people just read it themselves?
Yeah, that's too
I-
fast, Steve.
I can read them if you'd like.
That would be good.
Sure.
That would be
Yeah.
good. Read the
Read the
title.
first title.
Yes,
And
please.
notice how they're titled.
Seeking Denali Statement of Intent. Seeking Denali. At 20,310 feet, Mount Denali is the tallest mountain in North America, but very often is shrouded in clouds. So seeing the Great One is not a given. This portfolio documents my quest to be among those visitors who are lucky enough to get an unobstructed view, the so-called 30% club. Along the way, I learned about glaciers and captured fantastic sights, bonuses in my quest. 2 of 11, Wonder Lake, without the reflection of Denali, is just another pretty lake, a disappointing start to the quest. Moldreal Glacier, one of Denali's 17, is currently undergoing a surge where it flows 30 to 60 feet a day, the first surge in 64 years. Only 1% of glaciers move in this way. Getting above the clouds felt like my only option for a clear view. Given the dismal weather forecast, although it felt a bit like cheating. Getting closer revealed rugged terrain that would-be climbers must face, daunting, in my opinion. Moldreal Glacier, from above, appears to have the power to influence the clouds as it surges down the mountain. A hanging glacier, one of many, as it flows imperceptibly off the edge of a cliff, high on the slopes of the mountain. Climbing higher, we begin to encounter wisps of clouds clinging to the slopes. The summit, swept by wind and clouds. Chitna sunrise finally offers a view of the Great One from the ground. It was so worth it to rise up at 4 a.m. and capture a true 30% club image in the light of dawn. And the overview. Okay. Discussion.
Jennifer, do you have any questions that you want to ask us?
Well, one is that overall, does it seem like it fits together or is it too choppy?
I don't think it's too choppy, Jennifer. I think it really flows and really tells you the story that you wanted to tell. I love how it goes from different parts of the mountain and then you get the grand view at the end. It's just really builds suspense along the way. So.
Me too.
As I go through, if someone wants me to stop on a particular image, just shout out, stop.
Bill, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say that I think it flows very nicely. It's, you know, it's a good time sequence, a good image sequence and as you get closer, and the quality of the images is very high and very consistent from one to the other. So it all hangs together well.
Yeah, I was gonna say this last shot really makes the series
Mm-hmm.
worth
Yes,
getting
it
up
does.
for.
Yeah,
Great shot.
it
I'm
really
re-
was thrilling to see.
You're lucky you went. They just had a slide halfway up the Denali Road.
I heard about that.
Oh,
Oh
And-
my gosh.
Yeah.
I had to get up at 4 to see the sunrise. And then I went back to bed and I woke up again at 6. Mountain was gone.
Oh,
Wow.
Gone again.
I like the story about the 30% club,
Me
yeah.
too.
and I really love the hanging glacier picture.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah. I couldn't believe that thing. I was bouncing around in that plane.
oh, Jennifer, I also really like your narration, that you've put it in first person. So we're experiencing it through you. And it's just very well crafted.
Oh, thank you. All right, I feel better now. I get so close to these things that I can't make a real judgment about it. It's just nice to hear from other people. And I really appreciate all of you. And I thank you.
One thing that was a little confusing for me was, when was I looking at Denali? Because I know this is Denali, it's very clear. But as you were going through the images, it was, are we looking at parts of Denali? So that just wasn't clear to me.
Oh, once I'm in the airplane, yes, it's parts of Denali.
Okay.
The very first picture of Wonder Lake, online yesterday, I saw a photo of Wonder Lake. The mountain takes up the whole sky behind that lake and
Oh,
reflects in the lake. It was beautiful, but it was somebody else's photo, so I couldn't put it in. But it just made me realize what I didn't see here at Wonder Lake.
this is a great start, though. The disappointment of not being able to see it, because that's so much a part of the experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And that might be good in that title to include the fact that you're only seeing the very bottom of Denali in this image.
Good idea. Thank you. I will. I'll change that.
Jennifer, did you play around with typeface on the lead information picture?
The statement of
first-
intent.
Yes.
The other statement.
I did. I kind of like this, but do you think it's not professional enough, or?
I don't know. I just wondered if you played around and tried different things, but
I did. I tried 2 or 3 things,
Mhm.
and most of them were kind of plain. And I liked this kind of, I don't know, it's just a little bit uneven, sort of like,
it looks
I
like
think-
snow.
I felt like it was more personal, but that's just me.
Mhm.
Anyone else have a feeling about that type?
This type font is appropriate because you're speaking from a personal voice, and this font has a personal effect.
Good thought, Steve.
Thank you.
I do think it's not very formal. And that, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. It's just not very formal. It's kind of a casual font.
It
Yeah.
is, yes. Well, I will try playing around some more and see if something feels better. Because it shouldn't be hard to just change font.
No.
Right. It's easy enough to do.
Okay,
And you could share it around with people if you want.
that's a great idea. Thank you.
Is there a reason you chose this particular color for this page?
Well, I had a little help from some trusted advisors. I started out with gray, the way they suggested, and it just looked dull.
Uh-huh.
I felt like the photos were a little bit black and white anyway, just because of the snow and the rocks. And so I wanted to give it some kind of color, not just black. And I kind of ended up, I tried light blue, it was okay, but not great. But when I tried this, it just really seemed to kind of be striking, especially in the overview image.
Okay.
And I wanted to tie it together. That's why I used it first and last.
And I was thinking maybe something, and I would have gone for maybe not light blue, but something that was in the sky there, you know, something that, or in the snow, that sort of aqua, something that carries through.
Huh.
But then you use this for the background here too, so that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Beautifully put together. This overview image is really lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think we've used up my allotment of time and I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yes, good job.
And I will go through and read this and come back to the beginning. Tim Ellen, human interaction with artworks statement. Human interaction with artworks. Museums tell us not to touch the art, but the Whitney Museum of American Art encouraged it with Mary Heilman's Sunset, an outdoor exhibition of her brightly colored sculptural chairs that was on display from May 1st to September 27th, 2015. Heilman's chairs were displayed in the museum's large outdoor space in singles, pairs, and sets of 3 or 4. Although heavy, they can be moved. This portfolio explores how visitors interact with Heilman's sculptures, touching, sitting, playing, rearranging, or ignoring them. This chair is perfectly placed for when my entourage arrives. Not the best lounging spot, but 2 of these chairs together can work when you're tired. She's ignoring the chairs, even if they would be a great match to her red sweatshirt. This chair is a great spot for me to rest. I wish he was not ready to go so soon. He is taking this chair because it matches his shoelaces. These chairs are arranged to make a perfect place to be private. These chairs offer a good place to share photos. These chairs are a great place to interact with their devices, but they still can interact with each other. Sitting close enough in these chairs just makes it possible to exchange things. This chair is perfect to lean against for a little rest while the 2 men stroll on. These 2 yellow chairs are arranged perfectly to play a game of musical chairs. And we'll get back to this in a sec. Okay, discussion.
Tim, do you have any questions for us?
No, the only thing that I did with the layout of the photographs with the subtitles was I wasn't sure that the subtitles were going to show up in the photographs themselves. So when this is presented, I will remove the subtitles with the photographs on the last image.
Okay, great. Yeah, that would have been a comment.
Oh.
One thing with this statement,
I've
first of
got
all, it has to be called statement of intent.
Okay.
That's first. And then second is it human interaction with arts works or art works?
I think that's debatable. I'll check it out and see.
Okay.
And the little positioning carrots, are those intentional to leave there?
No, that was strictly from the standpoint that I was trying to do this without going into Photoshop. So I'll figure out how to get rid of those.
I missed something there, but there is a place where I would have put a comma. Is that something that would be appropriate to
Sure.
mention, or
Yeah.
maybe not? I
Yeah.
would think after museums tell us not to touch the art, a comma, but the Whitney Museum encouraged it. I don't know, unless people don't like commas. I'm sort of a
No.
comma freak.
It belongs there, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll run it through Grammarly and see what they have to say as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
One comment I have, all of your statements pretty much start this chair. Now this one varies it, but let's see, and this one, not that one, that's a this chair, that's a he. Okay, these chairs, these chairs, these chairs. Okay, the three theses in a row, when I was reading it, the rhythm was a little off. So of the three, you might consider the second one changing from these chairs. Say something, change the phrasing of the sentence, such as a good place to share photos, these chairs are, or, you know, that's not the best one, but you get the idea.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
It'll make, I don't know, the three in a row all saying these chairs, you get focused on the wording instead of the images.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Good point.
The only other comment, I mean, I love these images and this portfolio, and the only other comment I have has to do with the white corners and edges. I don't know if you noticed them, but if you go through, there were at least two, and there might have been three, where there's a, let's go through them. Yeah, there at the top on the right.
Oh.
I find that kind of disturbing.
Okay.
And then there's one that looks like it was cropped. Can we keep going?
Oh, and then it clips off the little edge there.
The clipping is okay with me, but the white is really, it bothers me. I think you could even just clone the color into it, because it's not like it has to be journalistic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There was one more.
I like this one.
I do too. That one.
Oh,
Yeah, this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Constrain the
cropping issue.
Both edges.
Okay. Yep.
Both sides, actually.
Yeah. Notice it on the left. but
You could probably,
that kind of thing would be good.
Yeah. That's a
Anybody else?
transforming issue. Okay.
thing that grabs, you can grab the corners for perspective and just stretch them out slightly also.
Right.
Tim, I don't know how
Crop
you,
it.
I don't know how you chose the order for the photos. You may have, I'm assuming you had something in mind. What came to me was that in your opening, you talk about 2 chairs, 3 chairs, 4 chairs. And just a thought might be to have all your 2s together and then go to your 3s and then go to your 4s.
That is all. I
Interesting.
chose it based on the people, one person, then two people,
I would
then
suggest,
3 people or more.
I'd suggest cloning out this is a distracting
Um,
object. There's a spot there.
Okay. Yeah, one of the drains.
yeah. Anyone who hasn't spoken yet want to chime in?
Well, I like the idea of the people in these colorful chairs and just seeing different groups of people with it, the great images. And wouldn't want to distract from the images in any way.
Yeah.
I like that the people are colorful too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the colorful
This one is
Yes, of it
great.
is just so fun, and it makes it almost a humorous feeling to the whole thing.
Right.
Mhm.
Look how her colors match the.
They're perfect.
You could almost limit,
Complimentary.
you could almost reduce the titles down to just a couple of words for each
There you
image, because the images stand on their own, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Good idea, Bill.
There's a beautiful simplicity to it. So
Right.
keeping that in mind and those little distractions, like in this one, the back there, I would go for the simplicity.
One comment I got last time had to do with, what do they call it? Aspect ratio.
Mhm.
Tend to like the aspect ratio to be the same in all the images. So you might think about that. I'm not really suggesting changing it because I think the images work, but they did have that comment. They want the aspect ratios to be the same.
You're saying N4C and judging made that comment?
Judging the portfolio, yeah.
Yes.
And it could be that because I only had one, that was not the same aspect ratio.
Yeah, I didn't get that comment, and I had all kinds of aspect ratios.
So maybe that was
So
it. was
that
that-
might have been it.
Yeah, that I just had the
The
one.
one that stood out.
Mhm. Good, thanks, Bill.
Is that the white?
Sounds
spot?
like what they're looking for is continuity.
Mhm.
I love this one.
I have a question.
Yes.
When
In,
they talk,
Wait, Jennifer,
each-
wait, please. Greg?
Okay. In each of these photos, are these the same chairs or are they different chairs that have been that are in different locations?
There were about 15 or 20 chairs in this very large space.
Okay.
Most of them had
No,
not
in other
been
words-
rearranged because they were heavy and difficult to move.
So think about maybe rather than saying these chairs or this chair, refer to the arrangement, this arrangement of chairs.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Mhm.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah, good
Um,
point.
in the instructions, when they talked about this overview image, they kind of specified that they wanted to get the pictures as big as they could be so they could see how they work together. Did you say you were going to take out the
Text.
text and make the photos
Yes.
larger? Is that
Yeah,
it?
I will take out the text. I was not sure when we were reviewing this, and there would be text showing on the photographs. So the text is going away on these.
Also, what is the limit of the number of photographs? I thought it was 10.
7 to
12,
10,
I believe.
I believe.
How many?
You know,
7 to 10.
10, yeah, 7 to
Plus,
10.
plus the statement of intent, and the statement of intent does not say you can't have an image in the statement of intent. So you could have 11.
Well, this is 11.
11, but
I thought it was 7 to 10 plus statement and overview.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I'm splitting here. You'll see when you get to mine, but
Yeah.
the statement of intent, I looked at the rules pretty carefully, and it does not, it just calls it an image. It doesn't say that you can't have a photograph in your statement of intent.
Right.
Which I'm not,
Anything about having titles in the overview image as opposed to just images.
I don't think there's the titles. Yeah, I don't think that's included.
but Tim's already said he's taking those out. What I'm pointing out is
Yeah.
that there are 11 images here, and that's one more than is allowed in the portfolio itself, not the statement of intent, but in the portfolio itself.
Yeah, in this overview,
Last year it was 12.
Last year it was 12.
12, including the overview and the statements, only 10
Right.
photos.
Yeah, if you embedded the statement of intent and say that first image, then you're home free.
Or if you had to eliminate one, which one would it be?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a hard one. But you got till November to decide.
Can I
Okay.
ask a question?
Yes.
What exactly are the rules? Is this a competition, an outside competition, or in other words, what's the context of what we're looking at?
Okay. This is we are members of the Northern California Council of Camera Clubs. And once a year, they hold a portfolio competition. And there are rules that N4C, which is what Northern California Council of Camera, that's the abbreviation. There are rules to how you put a portfolio together. And this is the second year we've participated.
Great, thank you. That makes more sense.
Okay.
I didn't hear an answer. Did anyone clarify whether or not titles can be included in the overview image?
They're not supposed to be.
Didn't say they couldn't, but they did say that the purpose was to show the photos as large as possible and how they work together.
Right.
And the examples that they showed on the N4C videos did not have titles.
Right.
But it never specifically says you cannot put titles. But my feeling is that they don't want that. They want the photos larger so they can see how they work as when you have them all on one page.
Okay. Tim, anything else that you're looking for from us?
No, unless somebody has a suggestion of which photo should go.
If I looked at the overview with the postage stamp pictures, 2 and 3 are different than the rest. Anybody else?
3 is different.
I would take
I
out,
think you
Oh,
need
I see. I see what you
because
mean,
she's
too.
ignoring them.
Yeah. I see
Yeah.
what you mean.
3 is different, but it's a strong photo.
yeah, I agree.
I'd almost put that as the last one. Because you want
Yeah.
punch to come at the end.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
ending. It's a great
Good idea.
ending.
Yeah. So maybe 2?
I think 2 because
2.
of the issues with the corners and then clipping the chairs. I love the fact that she's lounging. I mean, it's great in terms of the collection, but if you have to take one out, that's the one I'd take out.
2 seems weaker to me, and also the first one on the far left on the bottom.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, well.
Okay.
Why it's so good to
Okay,
hear
we
from
should
different
move on.
people.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Good job.
Good job. Really fine photos.
They're very fun.
Mhm.
Moving on to Tricia.
All right.
Sister Age. Now in my 70th year, my interest in how women feel about aging intensifies. This portfolio reflects photographically the responses of 8 women aged 58 to 95, who I interviewed and then photographed in the nude. They understood that I was not trying to sugarcoat the process of aging, but to display it in all its wrinkled glory. Image titles are direct quotes from the interviews. When I was young, my body was about sex. That's changed. It's that loss of elasticity. The trajectory from embarrassment to acceptance was not an easy one. I got a lot of compliments on my ass. Everything is broadening, sinking, sagging. I like my toes when my nails are polished. Squandered my youth. I never thought that I would ever get old. I can still walk. I'm happy with my body now.
Beautiful.
It is
Wow.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Just
it's
wonderful.
special.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Powerful, Trisha.
Thank you.
Is it?
I
is it-
like your statement.
Yeah, I do too.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
take
Only
the
it should
thing.
go on and on.
You have some very gullible friends.
I want to know if the statements were from each picture or were there just statements drawn to fit the picture?
Statements drawn to fit the picture.
Okay.
Wow.
They are directly, there was a video that this was part of with a lot more photographs. And so the statements go with the images that were used in the video.
I was confused a little bit by your name on some of them, but not all of them, I think, unless I missed something.
My name, you mean the name of the,
Well, it down below, it says Trisha Brown.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why.
that's something that the system does. It's not something I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's needed.
I don't either, except for the,
Unlike a competition, this particular preset for displaying the images displays the author's name. It's not part of the title.
And it
Good.
won't go in. It won't go in that
Good.
way.
Okay.
Good.
They're amazing.
Powerful.
I love this one.
Yeah.
I have a question. This is Pamela.
Yes, Pamela.
So in the statement of work, you talk about working with women 58 to 95.
Mhm.
Are the photos reflective of that age group, the span?
Yeah.
Or- Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to know which one's 95?
All right.
Yeah.
No, I just, I'm thinking of all those gorgeous supermodels that are in their 60s that have a totally different look. That's all. So when I saw 58 to 95, I kind of expected, more of a distinction. Yeah, they're lovely photos. I can relate to a lot of them.
Me too.
Can't we all? Really stunning, very powerful piece,
That
Tricia.
was really amazing.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
It's amazing.
This one, the
I
title
like
is,
your,
the title of this
like
one
that your
is,
color.
hang on, you guys, this one, the title is, I squandered my youth. So it starts with I, and I'm trying to show
Oh,
that the way
I
she
done-
said it was, she had to really think about what the next word was going to be. And I'm not sure if I should just say I squandered my youth and leave it at that, or if I should leave it this way.
I think just
I
say
like it
I
this way.
squandered. Oh, sorry.
Comment, I do like the way you've alternated between for example, symmetrical images, perhaps another symmetrical. And this is kind of amorphous. This is symmetrical, but then this one, you go asymmetrical. And I like the switching between the symmetrical and the asymmetrical in the way you position the images. And this one's off center.
I think that the taupe that you chose is very complementary to all the pieces.
The what?
The taupe that's the color that you chose, I would call it taupe anyway, that you chose for your statement is sort of echoed in the photos themselves. So it creates a continuity.
Oh.
I would call that taupe.
Okay. There are some, like the one, the number 5, second row, first one, the part of it is very unsharp, and I'm wondering if I should go into Topaz AI, Sharpen AI, and sharpen it a bit.
Maybe.
Right there, see the part?
Bottom left, bottom right.
Bottom right. I think I'll try that.
I did notice it. I think I noticed it. I think that's a good thought.
Okay. I did sharpen that asymmetrical one. Because when I
but then again it balances the wrinkle toward the right that is also not as sharp. So I think it's kind of mock nix.
Okay. This one I sharpened.
Tricia, I had a question about, are the photos supposed to mirror the order in which you showed them in the overview image? Because this one was, well, no, it's fine. No, I think it's fine. I got confused.
Yeah, I think they're in the same order.
Okay, great.
Wow.
I think they're great.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay, well, thank you.
I think the order makes for balancing in the overview image.
I got some help with that.
That was probably a struggle.
Do you notice how the overview image is all strewn together and then the statement of intent is all strewn together in the title? That's the way that it shows in the instructions. I hate it. And I've asked Doug Stinson how important that is, because I would rather that it say overview image, you know, not all strung together like that.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to get some feedback from him, because the instructions, it shows it strung together.
Yes, it did. But because there's no limit, I mean, it's not anywhere close to the limit, seems to me you could put a space and it would be fine.
Same with statement of intent, same issue.
Yeah, and the only thing is that's how it's showing in the instructions. And so I'm afraid to change it without Doug saying, yeah, that's okay. So I'll let everybody know.
Great.
Okay, good idea.
Tricia?
Yes.
I just want to comment on the merit of the photography here. I know that the rules are important for getting these in and everything, but especially that foot in the bottom middle. It's exquisite. The lighting is so beautiful. Yeah. You know, the contrast is there. It's probably your strongest image, and I can see why you would have had trouble knowing where to place it. Yeah, your lighting is terrific.
Thank you.
Great lighting.
You did well in your overview to place those 2 feet center. because they're like in color, and so that creates a balance there.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Excellent.
Beautiful, Tricia.
Terrific.
Thanks.
Now, the next set, these are loose images that I put into the order that they were uploaded. But we can rearrange them. I'm going to, there's no statement or overview image, just the images I'm assuming to be put together into a portfolio. So I will show each image. They're all one-word images.
Okay.
Adolescence.
Let me ask you, do you want me to, I clearly misinterpreted the directions, Steve. You know, I didn't realize it was a more complete portfolio that was expected. I can give a statement of what my intent is here before you show the images. Should I do that? I'll just speak that statement.
Good idea.
Sure.
That's a good
Sounds
idea.
good.
Why don't you do that? Part of this exercise was that you didn't have to have a complete portfolio. We can build it here.
Unless you want to.
But I would like to read what I was intending to do here.
Excellent.
Okay, so let me do that. When photographing flowers and leaves, I sometimes find a combination of pictorial elements that create an iconic image of the human condition. I search for those images that are surrogates for our emotions, relationships, and actions. So that's the intent.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Knowing what's coming, that's very good. Adolescence, romance,
Oh,
mother love,
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Oh,
resilience,
Mhm.
oh.
friendship,
Oh,
It's so beautiful.
confidence, meditation,
Mm.
and they're just 7 images.
Right.
Absolutely beautiful.
That's
great idea.
Yeah, great idea.
Wonderful idea.
Thank you, thank you.
I want more.
Yeah.
Me too.
I remember a lot of these images and it's great.
Yeah, they've all been shown at the club.
Beautiful.
Bob, one of the
Yep.
comments I got last time, I only had 7 images and they said, how come the maker didn't do 10?
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay, I'll have to,
So if you can come up with more, I would suggest that you do.
okay, good, thanks for that hint.
Get your camera out,
I
Bob.
know. You got time.
It's tough to come up with an image that hits me as an iconic one, though. You know,
Yeah.
You can make very nice images of flowers that are great, but it's hard to find ones that I can relate to in a personal way.
Well, that'll be your challenge.
Oh, it is? It certainly is.
Well, the argument, it seems to me the argument could be made that if the rules say 7 to 10, it's perfectly acceptable to enter 7. And the second comment I would make about that is sometimes less is more.
Mhm.
And it adds more weight to each photo in here.
That's a good point. Yeah, thanks, Betsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Betsy.
So I have no other statements that go with each image. It's just, you know, a 1 or 2 word title that expresses the feeling.
Works for me.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Me too.
I don't think you need big
Yeah.
titles.
It's great.
I love the simplicity.
Less is more.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Your
Yeah.
challenge is going to be when you create the overview image.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
You notice you've got this
Yeah.
image and this
Mhm.
image
yeah,
are different aspect ratio from the other ones.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's
So-
true. Yeah,
If you add any more images to this, consider when making the overview image, if the aspect ratio of the added image would make it easier to balance the overview.
okay. That's good suggestion, Steve. Thank you. Yeah,
I think that's a good point.
yeah.
Anybody who hasn't spoken for a while want to chime in?
Bob, I think you did a really good job of expressing your intent in the photographs that you chose.
Mhm.
It's
mhm.
it's quite remarkable, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Intent.
Very good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Moving on to Nancy.
Aha.
Oh,
Color grading impact on mood. In this time of COVID-19, I have been playing with color grading, a technique commonly used in movies to create varying moods from scene to scene. Images are from Swa or Soy. Swa,
Soy.
Soy Cowboy in Bangkok, an area of so-called ladyboys and other sex workers, photographed in mid-February 2020 as attendance waned due to the pandemic, and the mood felt anxious. I'll take you through 8 images as I tell a story expressing mood changes utilizing color grading. Color grading with reds and blues saturated, combined with an extreme crop, tells the story of ladies of the night in a brief vignette that sets the scene. Take the same image, color grade with shell pink in the highlights, put a glow on the scene, and it could be a gal's night out playing with boudoir costumes. Color grade to emphasize the yellows and reds with a bit of glow on the subjects. The reds heat up the scene, while the bright yellow lends a feeling of festivity. Add the male customers into the line, cast a glow of cool blue, and contrast to the same scene, and the feeling becomes more ominous and a bit creepy. Since this district is for sex tourists, I took the red and blue lighting off of the subjects and made their skin and outfits a flesh color to represent why they're there. These subjects look so down and left out while waiting for action. So I enhanced that mood with dual tones of purple and cream on midtones and highlights. This scene is the area to me sex workers. That hyphen throws me. The scene is the area to me. Sex workers depicted in a sad red color as one watches an anonymous foreigner walk past without interest in their services. I conclude with extreme color grading to give a cognitive dissonant Moulin Rouge look to Soy Cowboy, with unexpected teal shadows, blue highlights, red midtones. Different aspect ratios, but very well balanced.
I love it.
Nancy, any questions for us?
Yeah, I do, thanks. Well, originally I had 10 and I pulled 2 out because I didn't think they were strong enough. And I was going for that idea that it's better to have, just like a sequence, not having too many in it, that each one should be important. So I wondered about that. And also on the first, on the first one where I have my statement. And by the way, you'll see overview image and statement of intent. I put the spaces in as I did last year, and there was nothing ever said. And I just think that that's fine. But on the statement, I don't know if the word anxious is right. Give a feeling of the mood felt anxious. I didn't know if it should be, I don't know if anybody really looks so anxious. It should be unsettled, or so if anyone has any word that might work for that. And I also did that a little bit of an arc because I was bored.
I love it.
It draws your eye in and you're like, what are we doing here? Are we happy?
It leads into the whole feeling of the whole piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I really like is that you outlined each image in a color.
Yes.
And it feels like they're all glowing neon to me, and it really adds to the flash of the event and the spirit of the night.
Very true. I'd like to see the front one again, the statement.
The which one?
The statement before the photos. I'm still working on anxious because that did bother me. It didn't feel right.
I think Nancy knows me. I think I can come up with a better word.
I have a list of about 30 that I've been playing with. So, yeah.
Here's another thought.
What's your favorite word, Nancy? What is your next favorite word?
Well, unsettled was the previous one that I had come up with. Okay, very diverse, ambivalent, fluctuating, vacillating, unresolved, uncertain, unsettled, clouded, oblique, weird, changing, hesitant, tentative, unsure, unclear, unclear, apprehensive, diffident, spiritless, pusillanimous. I don't even.
Pusillanimous.
I like that. I like apprehensive.
I like
Unsettling,
dissonant.
variable. Yeah.
How about
rattled? Sorry, go ahead.
How about just
Go ahead.
tense?
Tense?
Tense is good.
Tense is good.
Yeah.
How about ominous?
No, tense, I think is better.
Ominous is good.
Ominous is over here.
I suggest
Well,
rather than looking at one word, look at those last two lines and maybe transpose, maybe just do something that expresses what you're feeling. We get tied into a line and sometimes we try to fix that line instead of going back and seeing if there's something better.
Yeah,
Just a thought.
we do that.
Something
One thing
that
that bothers me, Nancy, is that in the text for each image, you're telling the viewer what to feel. from the color change. I mean, you're telling us for one of them, for example, it looks creepy. And in others also, somehow I think, you want to leave it to the viewer to appreciate how the color grading affects his or her sense of the image.
I understand what you're saying, Bob. The thing is that what my intent is to work the color grading to give a mood that I want you to feel. And I'm saying like almost as a teaching thing.
Yes.
That this is what I did to get a certain mood.
Okay.
If I wasn't, if that didn't work, I need to change what mood I was trying to give. Does that make sense, Bob?
Yes, that does. I understand that now. Okay.
The one where I say
maybe that should be a stronger element in that final statement here on the intent.
Yeah.
Nancy, I think with what Bob's saying, because I totally got that, maybe take more ownership. And that might be what bothered me about that line too. You say photographed, blah, 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 instead of I photographed.
Oh, I was limited in words.
Well, take something out and make it work. But what I mean is with what Bob was saying, that those are the feelings that you were going for. And maybe in that line, say something, not the exact words, but something, this is what I was going for. I mean, I think your thinking would be self-evident, but I don't think it would hurt to take a little more ownership of what you are going for, because this is your creation, very well thought out creation. Does that make sense?
Color grading to amplify or reflect what is going on in the picture.
Well, I was changing what's going on in the
Yeah,
picture.
exactly.
You in the first two. The first one is a very sexual look, and the second one is the same scene. And I changed the color grading, and it's a completely different scene.
Mood. Yeah.
You're using color to guide your audience.
Yes, I'm guiding you, and I'm
Well,
telling you what I'm
you're
doing.
using color to create a mood.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, that's
And you
exactly.
could reword that last sentence in the statement of intent as something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
creating mood changes.
Oh, okay, great. I like it.
Mhm.
I have a question. On the one where it says creepy and a little bit creepy, I don't know if that worked. It was
I don't think
somewhere in the middle.
I think we already got to creepy before you said it, I think.
to create a feeling of,
yes, to create,
and not creepy, but something else, to create a feeling of whatever you, but not
create an ominous feeling.
There you go.
Nancy, I've got another word for you to consider. Foreboding.
Yes.
Foreboding.
Foreboding.
Instead
Thank
of
you. I love that word.
Because when you're anxious, when I'm anxious, I want to go do something. But what I get, the impression I'm getting from all of these photographs is they're not quite sure if they want to dive in or just keep on walking.
So which
So
one are you? Which one is foreboding?
Well, this one here, where the man has walked by, he left the scene, right? And the girl's looking at him like, why did you leave? Or why didn't you select us? So I get the feeling that it's not a feeling of anxiousness, but it's a feeling of caution. And who's going to choose who? And am I even going to participate?
So do you suggest on the first one
on the
instead
first
of
page, on the first page,
on the first
instead of the word
page,
anxious,
yes,
instead of anxious, foreboding.
I like that.
One comment on the color of the first image, Nancy. But to me, it's dissonant with the rest of the images. To have black, white, and red, it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't go. I don't know.
I like it. To me, the second
I
one,
do too.
or
Yeah.
the exception.
You know, Nancy, on those those two lines that we were talking about on the statement, you say it was photographed at 2020. I don't really care as a viewer when it was photographed. I'd much rather hear what you're doing with this.
Well, I think that's important, though, being just on the eve of COVID.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
explains a lot of the mood.
Yeah, I mean, like with Tim's chair one, I don't think it was that important to say it was an exhibit in 2015, but here, I think the date is crucial. That's just me.
No, I agree. I think it's really important because COVID started in Asia a lot earlier than that. So,
You know, just a comment on the social scene there. You know, it's all those young women look bored to tears. You know, they look like they would like to have a customer, but you know, it's not very high in their priorities. It's sort of a banal picture of their life. And I think the color is what you need just to give any emphasis to it. That's just a comment on the social scene, not on your photos.
So eight is okay?
Yes.
Yes.
For me.
I'm a little concerned about the two on the bottom left being so similar.
In color.
In color and toning, and it just seems like the other ones, you know, it just shifts a lot, and those two just don't. They just kind of hang together.
Yeah.
But yet
All three of them.
The descriptions don't totally fit. The first one, you know, the girls with the flesh color, I thought was really appropriate. But then the next one, the purple and cream is just so similar to the other one that it's hard to differentiate here.
Yeah.
What the mood.
They're also a very different character from all the others.
Right.
I think that the woman on the left is a lady boy. In other words, I think she's a man.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And aren't a lot of the people in the images lady boys?
Yes. We don't know. You don't know unless you pay to find out.
Right. Right.
Well, yeah, but number one, how important is that to your story, Nancy? About, you know, color leading emotion. And second of all, does the viewer, how important is it? Maybe?
Good point.
Yeah, it's not really important. I think it's more of a curiosity. You know, not a.
Yeah, I know. It's a curiosity. And I know I can leave out mentioning lady boys. I'm just attached, and I'm glad you brought it up because you caught me out.
Excuse me, can I jump in for a second? I'm a school teacher. Tonight's a school night, and I'm going to have to excuse myself for dinner. So it was a pleasure meeting everybody. Thank you so much, Bill, and I look forward to seeing you guys again.
Jack.
See you. You joined in.
Jack.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Well, I welcome anybody to email me and talk to me with ideas that you have. I'm open to some things I'm closed on and I need to open up, and I will make every attempt to. And I thank you very much.
Pretty powerful, Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
Fascinating piece.
Very good.
Right, next.
And next one does not have a statement. Let's see. Anne Do you have a statement you'd like to speak before I read through?
I was working on a statement and it had something to do with my appreciation for nature and how it's kind of gotten me through COVID in many ways, because I was able to, you know, use my photography as my therapy kind of. And so I came on a theme of finding different patterns in nature. And so that's really the title, is Patterns in Nature.
Oh, great.
So
Good.
That could be your portfolio title.
Yeah.
yeah, but I did this very last minute and I wasn't even going to really do it, but then I thought, well, why not? You know, even if I don't end up submitting it, at least I will have learned a lot. And I already have learned a tremendous amount. So thank you everyone for sharing. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm jumping in, diving off the end of the diving board here.
Great.
Okay, I will go through and read. Spiral orb spider web is the most common and classic design and structure of webs. Characteristic pattern of the structure of feathers.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Wind and sand. The shape of a gold rock creates a pattern in the wind-blown sand. Nature remains. Skeleton found, probably a young deer taken down by a wildcat or mountain lion. Altocumulus with false streak occurs when supercooled water droplets form ice crystals and fall, leaving a hole through the cloud layer. Patterns of clouds most clearly show influence of wind and
Supposed to be temperature, but I think I used too many words for the title, so it got chopped off.
Well, 200 character limit and it chopped it.
I didn't realize there was that limit, so that's a good thing to know.
Yeah, good
I can
lesson.
change the wording to make it fit, so.
Fern spores line the backs of sword ferns in orderly rows. Oak leaves edged in front emphasizes the scalloped shape of leaves.
In frost.
Fern spiral opening and changing shape.
Beautiful.
Sundog, ice crystals, create a halo around the sun hidden by clouds. Circle of mussels cling to a rock covered by sand at low tide. Fire burn pattern on tree trunk reveals rough texture of tree bark. And okay.
I didn't make a composite yet either. So I don't know how to do that, so I'll have to research that. So I'm kind of interested in whether you think these photographs that I selected are appropriate for the theme, that express the theme that I want to say, or whether I should look for some others. And I had originally a collection of like 30 or more images. And there was a lot of color in them. And when I whittle it down to the ones that I thought best expressed my theme, then I have eliminated some of the color that I was hoping to put in it. So.
Oh, that one's, that's my favorite. I love that one.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm a little confused by this one, and it's a feather, but what's it attached to at the lower left there? That's a plant pod?
It's stuck, the feather blew in the wind and got stuck on a weed.
Wow.
Well, you've got more words available in this title if you want to say something about
Okay, that's a good idea.
The
Yeah,
whole image, yeah.
Mhm.
I love this
I
one.
love the collect.
Yeah.
you know, the images,
The only suggestion. Go ahead, Robert.
Bob?
I was going to say, and the images are very strong. And I'm not sure they need all the description in the titles. You know, the images pretty much stand on their own. I mean, to explain that the shape of the rock creates a pattern in the windblown sand, I'm not sure you need all of that. You know, wind and sand, wind, rock and sand, if you wish, might be enough.
Yeah, I like that. Take a more minimal approach.
Yeah.
Rock and sand shaped by the wind. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, mine pertained to this one. I would leave out some of this description.
Yeah, me too. Nancy, you had your hand up too?
Yeah, thank you. I love these. I think the patterns in nature and is what it's about. I agree with only including something about the pattern and simple in it. And just as a nit, colons are not allowed in titles.
Okay.
So take those out. And you also would put your theme patterns in nature space square bracket and then what's afterwards, and be sure to add 6 characters to anything you do, because it's going to add of 12 or something like that.
Okay, so the patterns in nature has to be part of the title on each slide?
Yeah, that's the sequence title.
Yes.
Okay, good.
The portfolio title.
Thank you, Nance.
Are you sure you don't want to title it Photography as Therapy?
I like that.
Pretty good title.
Nature photography is therapy.
Yeah.
I think your photos are very poetic. And so using less description and leaning more toward, you know, just coloring the poetry of it.
Except for this one. I think it's so interesting that the ice crystals fall and leave a hole.
Yeah.
It's just stunning. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So
A black hole of ice crystals.
Yeah.
I think that one photo you have with the man with the parachute would make a good ending photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this one. The title needs to be Sundog Ice Crystals Creates, because it's the sundog that creates. It's not the ice crystals that create. So just add an S to create.
And I don't see
Maybe
a
it's
pattern.
not create, it's occur. Maybe it just occurs.
Yes, that's great. No,
Okay.
occurs a halo around the sun?
Well, that doesn't make sense, but
No, but you can work on it.
yeah. Yeah, think of it. Yeah, I agree. That would be a good. What about the rest of the order? Because I just popped these up there. I didn't pay attention to an order at all. So I like that comment about putting the parachute last. It makes sense to me too.
I think they're all pretty even.
You do have different aspect ratios. So if you're going to put this image last, you want to make sure that in your overview image, you balance the other aspect ratios out.
I think the overview image will tell you a lot about how you ought to sequence it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there any that you think aren't as strong that I should try and sub out for something else?
Well, you have one too many to start with, so. 'cause
Yeah,
you have-
so,
You only
so
get
which
10.
one should I get rid of?
The one
we
with
run
the
through 'em
feather
again?
kind of bothers me.
Which one, Terry?
The one with the feather. I mean, it's beautiful,
Oh, no.
but
Oh.
because it's so pastel, it just doesn't quite fit with the rest.
Oh,
Oh,
Beautiful.
No way.
You could just enter this in the competition.
There you go. Just looking for continuity. This one doesn't quite fit.
I can see why they want a composite page because it would be helpful even to me thinking about this to have them all on one page.
Yes.
yeah. And that will probably also dictate your decision about which one to take out.
Right.
Yeah, it would help, sure would help. So I may be calling on some of you.
Okay,
Feel free.
Thank you all.
thanks for doing it.
Good
job, yeah.
yeah.
You could also go back to an image and recrop it to change the aspect a little to better fit your overview.
That's true, I could do that, yeah.
Now, there is an orphan image here. Let me see if it is Ann's also. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was another one.
I didn't know if it was part of the other group or,
Oh,
no.
It was supposed to be part of the group, but one of the images that I put in, it refused to accept because it said it wasn't my image, even though it was my image. It wouldn't, for some reason, accept it. And so I went to get another image and I ended that submission. And so I had to make another one.
Okay.
So
Got it.
at that point, I lost control of the situation.
Ah, yes.
for me, this fits better than the feather
Uh-huh.
into the whole composite.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
And Anne, do you have any other questions?
Does anybody else have an opinion about which ones to get rid of? If you think less is more.
Well, if you had to get rid of any, I guess that burned oak, or the burned bark.
Okay,
What I was gonna say too.
It didn't fit with the others as much.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I have a question about on the statement of is it called statement of intent?
Mhm.
Can you put a photo on that page with a real small amount of opacity? Because I don't want to let go of the feather.
Oh, okay.
Great
You know,
idea.
actually, I did try making a letter of intent, and I already picked a picture that I like for that. That's kind of minimalist. It's a beach. I grew up on a beach, so I can relate to that. If we're talking about therapy, that's my most therapeutic place to be. And so, and it's got a lot of empty sand, so the words fit on the empty beach. I think that the feather probably has too much detail, it would be lost.
Okay.
So then you wouldn't really see the feather, but I like the idea of putting the words on top of an image, and I'm hoping that's allowed. But it doesn't seem like it is, so that's a good question for me to ask.
Well, Bill said it wasn't not allowed.
Right. There's no restriction.
Okay, well, then I'm gonna do that, I think.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. To read through. Polo at, was it Trione Field?
Trione.
Fiona.
Trione. Polo players include young and old, male and female, amateur and professional. In addition to the obvious need for horses, the sport requires a range of support personnel, from grooms to groundskeepers. in Santa Rosa, California, is all brought together by the organization of a local polo club and a generous property owner. Tying up the tails and wrapping the ankles is done by the grooms. Coaching to club members is provided by internationally ranked professionals, pros. Many of the pros hail from Argentina. Tournament play is fast and intense. The Ferrari Cup tournament is organized with the Ferrari Owners Club of Northern California.
Oh, wow.
Award ceremonies always begin with a few words from the property owner as club officers look on. Women make up the fastest growing demographic in polo. And there are no age limits.
Wow.
Young or old, one. Young or old, two.
Oh, wow.
So,
So no overview image? I mean, yeah, no overview image. Bill?
a quick comment on titling. When you do a title like this, let's see if my cursor goes there. Put an ellipsis at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Tells you that there's another one coming.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and then this one actually ends there, so you might
Put a period.
punctuate.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
I would
so-
take out pros. I don't think you need it. I think professionals is so commonly abbreviated that when you use it again the next time, you know, you can just leave that out. We all know.
Which one's the
Okay,
pro?
good.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's well accepted as
Yeah.
an abbreviation.
I love those Ferraris. That's so cool.
That's a lovely portrait of him. Yeah.
Should we have a period at the end of each of these?
I think so.
I didn't hear that.
Full sentences, put a period at the end.
Yeah, makes sense.
Officers.
Yes, officers.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed that.
This one, that going back to the other one, I wish
Yeah,
that
that's
it was a little bit closer in so you could see the women, see that there were women more clearly.
Okay, good comment.
But then you would be clipping off the mallet in the air, which I don't know, that might be not work out, but
I'd have to use a different photo.
oh.
I've got a lot of photos full. I
And
like this one for the joy of it, but I agree with you.
Yeah,
It's not
it
so
is
clear.
joyous. I like this photo a lot.
It's not so clear except for the hair.
you
The
could,
hair is pretty good, I thought.
you could probably do with a little more contrast in the shadows in the back.
Darken it.
Yeah.
Now, that might be enough to do it.
Yeah.
So people that we haven't heard from in a while, speak up.
I'm missing contrast in a lot of these photos.
Sorry,
I'm missing contrast. in a lot of
contrast,
Photos, they feel very washed out.
flat.
Yeah, flat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better in this one.
I love the red ball. They're not usually red.
This is.
Are you trying to decide between this one and the one before?
Yes.
Ah,
I think this one is
this one.
stronger. Yeah, me too. This one.
Yeah, that's actually my preference too, but I had an extra one to put in there, so I put the other one in.
Right hand lower corner.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Good catch. Thank you.
Mhm.
I want to add a bit of structure to the head of the girl in the foreground because she's a bit soft.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
That is so cool, though.
Nancy?
I love this one too.
Not even any stirrups. Oh, my God.
You
Yeah, no
guys,
saddle.
Nancy's trying to speak. Nancy?
thank you. I suggest, Bill, when you do your overview image, your set of images, not the first one, the last one, take a look because I think your color, your temperature is very different throughout.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't hang together, and I think you'll see that. And what you can do is go back and get a more common look and feel, especially for the background. But some of the first two, I think, were very, very yellow. Some of the foliage is very washed out, and some of it is very detailed. I think that once you do that, you're going to make some decisions and some changes. Like that one is
Yeah,
very different.
one question I had in my own mind on this is two of these shots start off the series because they kind of go chronologically with the day. And so it's early in the morning and the sunlight it's the morning sunrise light. So they're very red, like this one and the following one. So I worried a bit about that, whether I should even include them. I could come up with other
There's
images.
two possibilities. Two possibilities. You can mention it in your text that more in the morning light or something
Right,
like
starting
that,
off the day,
or
that kind of thing.
change the temperature.
Yeah.
And you want the grooms people in there.
Well,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
way your statement of intent focuses a lot on the support system for
Right.
this.
Why do they braid the tails?
So
It's
it won't
not-
get in the way of a mallet. They braid them and then tie them up, double them, so they won't get hit by the mallet. The mallet won't get caught in the tails.
That might be nice to know.
Yeah.
You could also go into selected color and take out a little bit of the red.
Yeah.
It's not journalism, so you can actually color grade this closer to the others.
Mhm.
Well, you can say it's just early in the day and and the grooms are working.
Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth on this point. My wife and I have talked about this quite a bit. So I'm interested in your ideas.
I think the more continuity that you create here, the better it's going to be received.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at your overview photo, I think it'll be obvious.
No, it is. I didn't do it yet because I haven't really settled on the final selection of photographs.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's a lot of work. I worked for days on it last time, so I'm holding off until I get to the final selection. But I think point well taken. The colors should be consistent because that's how they're judging it, and that's why they're looking at that composite. But I still struggled a little bit with that.
Do different teams of horses wear different colors, like on their wrap, or is it just generic stuff?
You mean the saddle pad?
No,
The wrap on the legs, is that just whatever they have?
That's indicative of the owners. Different owners use different color wraps.
Okay.
And so even though the jerseys will change from game to game, the owner typically use the same color wraps. So there's some blue ones. There's some very bright orange one guy that has all bright orange.
It's very interesting.
That one, for example.
You could take the luminance in red and orange down, and that would help on that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could make the colors a little more uniform.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
What about getting away with the using the statement of intent with an image? The reason I did it is I wanted to include one image of the groundskeeper, and I just was running out of places to put that in.
I think
And
it
this-
sets the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
and-
I like it.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
It fits in very nicely.
and I saw nothing in the rules that said you couldn't do that.
Right.
That's right. I looked, they even call it an image. The
That's
statement of
right.
intent is an image.
I like how the poll ends the text.
Yep,
Yep.
in red.
Right.
The
Poll
question
vote.
would be, if, when you do your overview image, do you have to include this image or
No.
not?
It says individual. I have the rules. You want it?
Go, Nancy.
Okay, an overview image consisting of thumbnail images of each image in the portfolio in the sequence in which the images are to be viewed. The overview image is used by judges as a tool to help them assess how the images in the portfolio work together.
So I plan to include this in my overview image.
Oh, you do?
No, you would not put this in because this is not one of your individual thumbnail images of each image in the portfolio.
Just
Well,
listen to
then
what
it's-
you,
I
I
bet
just
you do
listen to what you read, and what you read are images.
Yeah, as
Well,
opposed to
I
tape.
bet you then they'll say no.
Yeah,
I
you
bet you
don't-
it gets, I bet you next year there's a line telling not to use an image, and I bet, that's my bet.
Or vice versa.
Yeah,
Or vice versa.
I think it's an
But I
excellent
think
idea to do
that
that.
you do not put the overview, the statement of intent image. It says, okay, statement of intent image includes the title of the portfolio. The statement of intent shall be 75 words or fewer. The statement of intent shall be the first image in the portfolio.
There you go.
And then an overview image consists of thumbnails of each image in the portfolio, and it says the portfolio shall consist of between 7 and 10 images inclusive, in addition to an overview image and a statement of intent image. So I know their intent is that the overview image would have the individual images that are not the first page.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they just throw around the term image too often. That's,
Yeah.
But try it.
I definitely will.
I'm gonna ask for clarification.
Oh.
Oh, you don't want me to? I won't if you don't
No,
want me to, but
If you ask for clarification, I put money on that they don't allow it.
better to add.
If you're asking for clarification, if you could also ask, because it's ambiguous, if the title is 10 or fewer words, and then the statement of intent, is that of 75 words or fewer, not including the title, because it's ambiguous. So you have 10 for the title plus 75 for the statement of intent. That's what I think they mean, but they're a little untight.
If anyone asks, copy me on it so that I can keep the answers together.
That's a good
Okay.
idea.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the comments, all of you.
yeah.
Good job. Now, I had a minor catastrophe today where I lost all the titles and text on things. And I'm going to have to go in with data rescue because something got corrupted on the disk and I have to see if I can recover it.
Oh,
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 Good
how
luck.
disappointing.
But fortunately, I remember most of it, so it shouldn't be too hard. In addition, the final images for color and lighting and so forth were in that group. So these are like -1 or -2, you know, earlier renderings of the photos. Anyway, my statement of intent is to show artistic renderings from custom settings made to complex algorithms that individually or in groups affect relationships among pixels, light and shadows, different sides of the color wheel, and then extrapolate as though one were brushing on the image, as though you had loaded those settings on the tip of a brush and you are now painting using the original image. One second. And start with an interesting image. Then isolate some elements from it and enhance it, make it potentially brilliant, saturated. Or this will be the foundation for algorithms which compare tonalities, colors, pixels, etc. And so in this case, using an algorithm using triangles, it goes through the tonality of different areas, and each time the tonality changes significantly, it adds a border to that triangle. I had two choices here, and this one uses a dark line to detect the edges of different tonal areas. This is another type of detecting tonal areas, but with an interactive pen, it's using ellipses as opposed to triangles in creating the tonal areas. This is a different reflections using angles as they relate to each other, but not using a preset angle. The size of the tonal area impacts the size of that particular color patch. And then they reflect off each other. Here, using almost a wet oil type of paint stroke, which has been constrained. And if you look at somewhat of the waves, vertically and horizontally, there are very few that go on angles. This is a different one. This is like a block print on a black background, to where the significant edges are not there, but show as like string lines within each tunnel area, creating a mesh. Now, I'm going to go back one just because the text isn't here. Now, if you take this one and you layer it over this one, because, for example, the facial areas and parts of chest are nice, but there's some nice detail in the string area here. And so by layering it, you get something a little like that.
Amazing. Wow. Well, that is nothing short of amazing.
Part of my statement of intent, something in here to say that each one of these could stand alone by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Definitely.
think the images establish that, without any need for a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they're all very strong.
What you said and the complexity of your titles, Steve,
I'm sorry?
I think it would be helpful to simplify the complexity of both your statement and your titles to make it easier for the people like me who don't really understand what this is doing, how you're doing this. I don't know what an algorithm is. And I mean, you don't have to explain it to me. I could look it up, but I'm just saying that.
I purposely did that to get feedback on it. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Tricia.
The look is what you're after, and they're each amazing.
Yeah, I love that one.
Totally amazing. Wow.
This like
Is
a
there-
comic book, this one's so great.
Is there some kind of analysis that you could present, Steve, in terms of the effect of a particular shape? I mean, you're showing the effect of using triangles to establish differences and ellipses. Is there anything you can generalize from this exercise, rather than just establishing that I can do this or that or the next thing?
Something along the lines, there are infinite ways for your source image, the tones, the colors, and the shapes to interact with each other, where your image determines the result.
But each gives a different look. So it's not like it's just one image. It's as a group, it's very interesting because they're all contributing to a different look. I don't know how to put that in words.
I found the information when you said it was by triangles the most interesting. So I'm looking at this and going, okay, is this triangles or what shape is used in this? So keeping it less is more, simply what am I seeing?
This is why I said on this one, it's not the shape, it's the size of the color tone area that determines how large each little piece is.
Would it be more informative if you started with two basic images? There's this one of the tattooed man and another one, that you choose from your portfolio, and then use the same algorithm on both of them, but arrive at very different effects because of the nature of the basic image.
Didn't quite follow that.
Well,
but
all of
the tool, for each preset, you will have a list of 40 or 50 different parameters that you can adjust. Some of them use numbers to seed, to go in and generate the sizes of the shapes. The program is one of the most complex programs I've ever used. And it's a real challenge to try and simplify it.
Yeah. Mathematical debauchery. No, what do you call it? Mathematical. They're so great. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
And so entering into competition, it was very hard to choose one image out of this group.
Yeah,
A bit.
I'm guessing we each have our favorites.
Yeah, they're all strong.
Hey, Steve, a little different perspective on this. As I was looking at all of these images, I was really impressed with the product, not so much how you got it, how you generated it. So I would tend to title this Variations on an Illustrated Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
And I think you understand the relationship between the algorithms and the product, but I think you're going to lose your audience trying to get everybody to understand that.
Yeah.
And what's really powerful is just what you see.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you could simplify it by providing a clue in each title that's different. You know, this one is based on triangles. This one is based on ellipses, rather than trying to explain everything in real detail, you know, intricate detail. But the visual impact to me, the impact of the series to me was just what I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To find the basic element that influences the look.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Is this algorithm commercially available? Is this something somebody could buy and install?
This is all from a program called Studio Artist. And it's largely used by graphic designers and digital painters, but it's also used in the film industry because, for example, when you go, I don't know if people are familiar with the term rotoscoping, but let's say in going from this image to the next image, let's say he turned his head. Okay. And you want transitions to go from one image to the next seamlessly. But you also want the effect you're applying to follow the movement of the person. So let's say he raised up his hand, and in doing so, let me find it. His hand, his arm going up, just the arm, as opposed to the entire image, took on these ellipses. Not only can you take any of these algorithms and effectively load them into a paintbrush, you can take that brush and paint parts of your image, and it will come out with each of these effects. If you want those effects then to translate while this person is moving, as though you had a movie, and each frame changes slightly, rotoscoping is to take whatever that effect is and track the movement as it goes across frames and apply it across for an entire movie, as opposed to just a single image. It's an extremely powerful program.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And it's,
Anything else you're looking for from us?
actually, I think I've gotten kind of feedback I need, that even if each image is the exact same figure, they're so distinctly, dramatically, and fine-tuned, each one, that each one will stand alone, but they also work as a set.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Wow.
With that, we've reached the end.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh, thank you.
Yay. Good job, everybody.
Wow.
We're done?
That was really cool.
That
Yeah,
was
very,
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 cool.
very good.
Everything was cool. I
Fascinating,
loved
very
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look forward to seeing the results.
In November, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is I would encourage people, this is being recorded, right?
Yes.
Maybe we could share it with the group so
Yeah.
that everybody could get the information and maybe get their own ideas about creating a portfolio, because they have quite a bit of time to pull something together.
Yeah.
Great idea. It certainly inspired me.
Yeah.
And it's Team SRPS. This is one of the
Yeah.
great opportunities where we can come together, and the totality of our group of portfolios is us.
We were the big winners last time. Big winners.
Were we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tamara. Ooh.
Tamara,
Where's
Tara.
Laura? Surprised she's not here.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go have.
Good night, all.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
pretty
you,
good.
everybody.
Stephen,
Thanks,
Bill, and
everybody.
Tristan,
Good.
Good night, everybody.
Very good session.
Jennifer, thank you
Yes.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.